Okay, so now that we understand what a line graph is used for, we're going to have a look at one here and see if we can make sense of it. So we can see from our title that this line graph is telling us about the monthly rainfall. We don't know where, but we know that it is the weather and the kind of weather that we are looking at. We can see from our y-axis that this is measuring the inches of rain that fell in the month. And from our x-axis, we can see that we are recording the months in which the rain fell. So we've got April, May, June, and July here. Now we have practice of plotting coordinates already, and that's exactly what has happened here on our line graph. We've got the different points where the rain has been plotted for each month. So if we look at April and we work our way up this line for April until we reach the point that has been plotted, we then check it against our y-axis and we can see that 6 inches of rain fell in April. Okay, I wonder if you can tell me or work out for yourself how many inches of rain fell in June. Okay, so remember, check your x-axis first, go to June, and you need to work up until you get to the point that's been plotted on June, and then along to check for your y-axis, and we can see there are 4 inches there. So that is us interpreting our data on how much rain has fallen. We've got all the information. We're not just using the graph itself. The labels and the title are part of the information that we interpret as well. If we go to the next slide, okay, this is if we were going to measure the rainfall again, but this time we're looking at 2 different cities. So our key here tells us that the orange line is showing us city 1, might be Edinburgh, and city 2, which is, let's say, Glasgow. Same again, check our x-axis and it shows us, let me move my cursor, it shows you the months of the year that we are checking the rainfall for. So remember, it's over a period of time. It's continually changing, which is why we're using a line graph instead of a bar graph. Check our y-axis now. I would say there's room for improvement here. See if you can work out what do you think I think needs to be included for our y-axis. We've got numbers, but it doesn't tell us what those numbers represent, does it? So we need a label here to say that this is showing us our inches of rain, or it could be centimetres of rain, and that's the problem. With no label, we don't know. So you need to, if you were to be making a line graph, you need to make sure you include what the numbers represent. So it works exactly the same way. We would come along and I want to compare how much rain fell in City 1 compared to City 2 in March. So I come to March. I'm going to come up to City 1 first, which is the orange line, remember. Work across to the y-axis and it shows us that 3 something, let's say inches, fell in March in City 1. We come back down to City 2, only 2 inches of rain fell there. So there was a higher rainfall in City 1 compared to City 2. So this kind of line graph would allow us to compare different places, but for the same type of data.